Hi, welcome to the channel today. Today we're going to be going over 5 reasons how come your tomato plants will become leggy or long, spindly, and it can be a combination of these reasons, but if you've ever grown transplants, especially tomato transplants, you're going to get leggy plants at times. It just happens. So it's not that you're a bad gardener, that you made mistakes or whatever, it's just sometimes things don't go quite as we think. This year I think I've done a pretty good job. Here's my tomato transplants. They're at 4 weeks old. They've grown really well. They're not that, they're a little bit leggy, but to me not bad. And we'll kind of talk about why some of them are less leggy than other ones. But the first thing that people make the big mistake on is I take their lights and they'll have their grow lights. And let me do this here. And they'll plant their seeds. The first thing they'll do is they'll set their grow lights down. They'll put the lights about this high and turn them on and think that's close enough. Okay, it's not. What you don't realize is the sun is very intense. Our eyes are very good at adjusting going from inside to outside and outside to inside. If you're going to put those lights on your plants, you have them about this far away from the plants, okay? And as they grow, you just move them up. You want them to stay within 1 to 3 inches from the tops of the leaves. In other words, when I put mine in here, I have them up really about right here. If you're using LED lights, even if these leaves like here touch the bulbs, they're okay. They're not going to burn. Fluorescent lights can burn them, so you may have a little bit of problem with that. I do use shop lights, so they're not as highly intensive. You want lights that have a hood on them. They'll kind of push the light down, not ones you just let it go all over the place. Sometimes you'll see lights that will just be the bulbs on the bottom and they don't really have any size. That's not ideal. You want some that actually points the light where all the light goes down. What you have to remember, the sun is very intense. You know, if you stare at the sun for any length of time, a matter of seconds, you'll go blind, right? I always think it's curious that man's about the only one we have to tell that to. Animals know not to stare at the sun. You don't have to teach your dog not to stare at the sun. You don't have to tell your cat not to stare at the sun. But people have to tell our kids, don't stare at the sun. Make you go blind. So, and I've even seen that we had a representative here in Texas, and when they was having the solar eclipse, and they say don't look at the light, and she was kind of shedding, like she's still trying to see the sun through it and stare at it. Sometimes animals are smarter than humans for some reason. But the light is very intense. One thing when I was growing up, I'm going to go off on a little rabbit trail, I'd always been taught, because the other intense light you'll see is when people weld. You take these regular welders in the shop, the regular arc welders, and you're told from a young age, do not stare at that light. You don't let it flash up on you, it'll hurt, it'll burn your eyes. And I've been taught that, obeyed it, knew not to do it. But one day I was in the shop and I was working something here, and the guy over here off to my side, and it was a good probably 15 feet away. He was arc welding over here. And I see the arc welding out of the corner of my eye, but I'm thinking, well, I'm not looking directly at it. I'm okay. Well, I was wrong. And that night, my eyes got burned, and it makes little blisters in your eyes, and basically it feels like somebody's taking sand and threw in your eyes, and your eyes start watering, you start crying, and no amount of crying is going to protect it. I mean, it's going to hurt. And it hurt all night long, and that next morning, finally I guess the blisters went away or whatever, and I was okay. But even when they show people arc welding on TV, I'll look away because you're not supposed to look at it. And I know on TV it's not going to hurt because it's already been filmed, it's not as bright. But that's just, I'm conditioned not to stare at that light because it's very bright. What people don't realize is, if you ever taken, you know, a white book or a book that's got white pages on it, sit under the tree and try to read it, and how hard it is to read because you're kind of squinting, well, that's because it's very bright. It's brighter underneath that tree. It's way brighter underneath a shade tree than it is inside your house. And when you take that light and it's this far away, it's not producing enough light for these plants are designed to grow with the intensity of a sunlight. It's not the intensity of a light bulb. So you got to get it really close. Now this year I did take them in and out. As soon as they started sprouting, I would take them out. Anytime it got above about 45, 50 degrees, let them get acclimatized, and they're okay. Now if you keep these lights on the fluorescent lights or LED lights in the house and you take them back outside, you have to slowly acclimatize them or they will burn the leaves. The sun will, because they're not adapted to it yet. So first thing you want to do is make sure that light is close enough to the leaves, and any sunlight you can get them help. Now you can't let them get this size and say, I'm going to take them outside for a day. You know, you got to get them when they're really, really small. You know, at this size here, you can take those outside. They should be able to take the sun, and they'll be fine. I'll leave these out. It was a really sunny day the other day. Left them out, no problem. But the more you leave them underneath the lights, the more they're going to get starved for light, the more they can't take the sunlight. But the more light you can give them, the closer you can, the less growth or leggy growth you'll be getting. The rest of them are not going to be that long. Number two, it's too much fertilizer, basically too much nitrogen. Nitrogen is going to spur growth, and if you're spurring that growth, it's going to grow. And if it doesn't have enough sunlight, it's going to reach up for that sunlight. Backing up a little bit, if you're looking at your lights, and if you'll notice at night, you turn the lights off, next morning, all these leaves will be pointing up like this, okay? And as soon as you turn on the lights, it should go back up like this. Now, if the leaves are going down, you know, like this, you may have them too close, especially if you have a grow light that's very intense. I never had that hard with a shop light, other than one time I had 6 lights side by side and it got a little bit too intense, so I pumped them up just a little bit and it worked. But I will mention that. But too much nitrogen, they're going to want to grow too fast. One reason these are as leggy as they are is because I use a nutrient-dense potting mix called Ocean Forest from Fox Farms, and it probably has a little bit too much fertility in it, but I use it just because it's simple. I can put it in there. I'd never worry about it. I've not applied any fertilizer to these. Now, if you use a seeding mix, the seeding mix doesn't have any fertilizer in it, so you're going to want to go with half a diluted, 50% of what they're showing. So that's maybe one of those little small teaspoon on the side of a Miracle Grow, whatever, just a little bit of fertilizer to get it going, and then you kind of gauge how much, if you need to add more or less. If they're looking kind of puny and not really growing and kind of yellowish, you may need to add more fertilizer. If they're getting leggy and growing too much, you cut back on the fertilizer. But too much fertilizer will cause them to get leggy on you, so be careful of that. If you're adding fertilizer, you kind of adjust it. I can't adjust these. So that's one of my problems. My lights are fine. I've gotten plenty of sunlight, but they're probably got a little bit too much fertilizer. Number 3 is being crowded, okay? These here, if you'll notice, if you can get down in here, they're kind of leggy. See how long the inner nodes are between them? They're just a little bit too crowded. They're ready to go out now. I'm going to be putting these out today and tomorrow and next day probably. I've got 100 plants to plant. May take me a while, but they're just too crowded in here. But if you'll notice over here, these are looking better. They're not as crowded because I skipped every other one. In other words, I got a row here and I got a row here that has no tomatoes on them. All right, same thing right here. I didn't plant tomatoes on that side. Though one jumped over there. So that's one. That one jumped over the side. But those were left blank on purpose because I knew that these were cherry tomatoes, and cherry tomatoes tend to get really leggy. And you notice they didn't get leggy on me. The other ones did. But there just comes a time you have to pot up. You can pot them up into bigger. Usually you're potting them up in something like this size here, and they won't be quite as leggy. Number 4 is a lack of wind. So if they're getting kind of leggy on the inside, some people will put a little fan on them. To me, if it's, right now we've got, it's cooler today, but we're still in the 60s. Just take them outside, let the wind blow them a little bit. If you're going to work and you say, well, I'm afraid I'm going to burn them, I have just let them outside at night when his temperature's going to stay above 50 degrees. Set them out at night, brought them in the morning, put them underneath the lights. The wind blowing at night and the cooler temperatures will help slow them down and not get overly leggy. So it's nice that, like right now they're blowing, that's showing that plant it needs to stiffen up some, so it'll have a stiffer stem. Okay. And the fifth reason is people like to have germination mats. Now, I do not use germination mat. It really helps on hot peppers. My house stays in the 70s in the summer, in the wintertime, and in the summertime. We, you know, in my part of Texas, we heat up. I've got the winter set on 72 degrees, and the summer, and the heater set on 72. The cooler, the air conditioner set on 76. So we kind of stay in the 70s, though I did notice on my bottom rack it got down into the 60s, 64 I think was when I was using the infrared gun, so it kind of surprised me on that. But if you leave that heat mat on, what that heat mat's going to do, or that germination mat's going to do, it's going to provide heat to that root. And when you plant, and when you provide heat to the root feels like that it needs to grow, so it's shipping a lot more nutrients up into that plant. The plant doesn't think it really needs the growth, but since it's getting the nutrients, it will continue to grow and can grow leggy on you. So if you're going to be using the heat mat, that's fine. You get probably more consistent germination. You'll get faster germination. However, once you get about 50% of those seeds germinate, turn your heat mats off. If not, you're going to get leggier plants. It's kind of the same thing with your a lot of people like to have the humidity domes, and humidity domes work fine, except they should only be used to germinate the seeds. Once the seeds germinate, you pull it off because humidity is your enemy. Heat to your root system is also your enemy once you get everything germinated. So just remember that. If you do those 5 things, take care of that, you'll have much better plants. Now, if they do get leggy on you, and these are leggier than what I want, what I'll do is I'll just take these plants, and I don't have a good one to show you, but this one here, I'll probably bury it up this deep. It's not going to hurt it. Probably going to take this one out and just use this one, but roots are already down on the bottom. This is a 2-week-old plant. Which is really amazing to me because I didn't think it was that big that fast. But this one here is planted at the same time, so just different variety. This one germinated faster. But you know, you can plant them deep. Now, some people would plant them deep. Some people will take them, turn them on their sides. Because if you plant them too deep, you get out of your good soil, most of your roots are going to be right here in that root ball. And that root ball kind of stays there. It'll put some roots out on the sides, but your major root ball stays there, and you got that root ball really deep. If you get it over about 6 inches deep, I think you're hurting yourself, personally. So some people will take it and they'll lay them on their sides, build a trench, and lay them in that way so they won't be quite as deep. The only problem is when you start staking, if you have to stake something up, where's that stem at? You're afraid you might stab the stem. So that is a problem as far as for me. But I've done it both ways. These, this year, they're probably not so big. I like to go straight down with them. But if you got cooler soil temperatures, you want to go sideways with them because you don't want to get, the deeper you go in that soil, the colder it's going to get. But anyway, hope y'all have a good time growing. It's getting, as far as the zone 9A, really zone 8 even, you need to get your seeds planted, get them growing, and if you do it the way I did it, I got these here in 4 weeks time, so they really can grow quickly. You just don't want them to grow too quickly. You don't get them all leggy. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.